Good evening, all. How are you all? Thank you very much for coming and joining us for another special guest earworm. We have in the background the dynamic duo. Oh, wrong one. Hang on, not that one. This one. The dynamic duo and Martin. So,
It's all gone wrong again.
so thank you, Martin, for coming and joining us. Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Brian.
Welcome.
You're
We
welcome.
have to have Terry and Brian because if not, they feel left out, and that's not worth the hassle.
I do. I'm a lonely old soul, so I need some company.
Old
Shut up,
in
Steve.
the operative word.
Or don't you start my dizzle.
So a massive thank you to each and every one of you guys who came up and said hello on the Saturday and Sunday at Harrogate. It was very nice to put some names to faces and faces to names, whatever you want to call it. It was really good. We had a bit of a meet up on the Saturday at the Record Power Stand, and that was really good. Had quite a few people come and say hello, so that was good as well. So hopefully, if you didn't make it this year, you'll be able to make it next year, and we will see you there. But other than that, tonight we're going to talk about Martin's new products. Don't know if you guys have known that Martin's just brought out 5 new products. So I'm going to be playing with 2 of them tonight.
Yeah.
And we're going to see how they come out. And Martin's going to explain what the products are. Do you want to do that now, actually, Martin, quickly?
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. Not like dropping.
Oh,
them
you
out,
know.
like, you know.
How to,
We
use,
might as well-
how to use them properly, Steve, before you start. That's what you
Yeah,
mean.
well, no, Martin can explain what they are. Then we can talk about them a bit further on as well. So if I put Martin on big screen.
Wow. This is a bit straight. I haven't done a live or done anything pretty live for ages and ages and ages. So big warm welcome everybody. Thank you, Steve, Brian and Terry for having me on. And if you were at the Harrogate show last weekend and you dropped by the stand to say hi or watch myself or Steve demonstrate, then thank you very much for being there. Right, yes, I have brought out 5. So okay, moving on. Sorry, tongue-tied. Yeah, I have brought out 5 new products that had their UK demonstration debut last weekend. 5 professional spray products. The first one being a clear gloss lacquer. This is a super heavy, super dense clear gloss lacquer. And if you've seen any of the videos that I've done previously with like 16 or 20 coats of lacquer, with this new one, you're able to get the same standard of finish in only 4 coats. A super thick, excellent. And we've then got something new to the Hampshire Sheen range, which is a clear satin lacquer, and this again is really nice, and I'm absolutely loving using it at the moment. You get satin just over, and then we've got 2 blacks. We have a black gloss and a black satin. Both excellent results, really nice results as well. And then finally there is a matte cellulose sanding sealer, which I'm absolutely loving using as well. This particular range has been put together over about 6 months or so, something like that. Work a local paint manufacturer to us to actually get the formulations absolutely precisely how I want them. So none of these products are white labeled or rebadged from anybody else. They are unique to Hampshire Sheen. The labels, as you can probably see, let's pull up the clear satin and the gloss. Each of the labels features part of a finished piece, and the label, you won't be able to read it, I doubt, but the label there actually has a description of the process that was used to produce the finish that's actually on the label. So it's kind of a and they retail about the same price as the old lacquers. Now the old lacquers were 500ml. These are 400ml, but you need a third of the number of coats with these new ones as you do the old ones, which is really rather good. So Steve this evening is going to be playing with 2 of them. I'm going to hazard a guess that it's the sealer and the black gloss. I don't know.
How did you
but
guess that?
earlier, and then I thought, I hope he's going to use the sealer under it. So
Yeah, always.
yeah, so there we go. That's the range of 5. They are brand new to the market in the UK that have actually ordered them so far. Them from my own shop, which of course is thewoodturningshop.com.
There you go.
Cheers.
Not a problem. Right, I'm sure Martin can chuck the link in for that.
Just before we go a step further, I noticed they've got a QR code, Martin. Where does that take you?
Oh yeah. The QR code that's next to the serving directs you directly to the how-to page on the Hampshire Sheen website. And if you go searching for these products, they are so new, I haven't actually had a chance to do the how-to bits yet. I do have a massive filming schedule, design schedule coming up over the next few weeks to get all of that tied in together.
That's a good idea, the QR code, because if people have got a can, they can go with their mobile phone, blip, and that's it. That's straight to it. That's a good idea. I like that idea.
Most of the product range is now actually moving over to include QR codes on there.
Yeah, good idea. Good idea. Right, so while I go over to the lathe, I believe Terry is going to is going to
hello,
husky voice. It's no good. Hello, Ash. Right, well, this evening so far we've got Colin with Wizardry has joined us, followed by Barry. We're turning by Barry, Gerard the French turner. John Scarborough is also in. Pete Twisted Trees, Rob from Kingspur Abrasives, Wayne the Wood Turner's in. Excuse me. Oh, Brian at Arbor Turn is also put his name.
I'm here too, yeah.
Martin's put his name in there, as have I. John Mooney is in.
just spoke.
Otie's joined us.
Since the cameras in been on all week.
Right. Doug Miller's also joined us. Gary Glass is in. Down the said list, it's probably going to jump in early. Susie the Swiss Turner's here as usual. Hello, Susie. Michelle Oosby's there, keeping an eye on Brian.
Oh, she's been sitting up.
Roy's the boys joined us. Quite a few of these people I did see, of course. James Crawford, did see them at Harrogate. So you've all already picked up your tins of Martin's new product and want to
thank you very much.
Properly. Barry's Wood Creations, Michael McEwen, Andy Woodward Lerner, returns by Barry, David Heath, Guildford Carpenter, Door 60, Nick Castle, Scott Dunn.
Keep going, Taff.
We're nearly Andy Clanelli's there, Brian. El Tonero de Madeira is in.
That's Brian with a Y, for those who don't know.
Yeah. And that is almost exhausted my list so far. Yes, welcome everybody. Any questions, please? Put a question mark. Douglas Mung has joined. A question mark before your question so we know it's a question. And no doubt Martin's eager to answer them all.
Keen as mustard. Big congratulations to Gerard the French Turner for becoming a grandfather second time round today.
Oh, congratulations, Gerard.
Yes, well done. Jason Wheeler's just joined us as well.
Life as you know it has come to an end.
Benjamin.
Benjamin suggesting I should produce a competing product to cactus juice.
I'll make you millions, he says.
You have that idea for only 40%.
Yeah. You don't think this is the Dragon's Den. We have 72 people watching.
Yorkshire Gits popped in as well, and
Yes.
Andy from AJK Woodworks. Evening all.
So you can ask Martin any question you like. Doesn't have to be about the new products.
Fide Coast. Was that Fide Coast?
And the thing?
Simon.
Flight, yeah. Yeah, well, almost anything, Martin. I'll leave that to your discretion whether you answer or not.
It can't be very long now, Gerard, before you actually retire, is it? Is it about 74 days, is it? Or is it 20 days?
It'll be getting something like
That'll be
that.
close.
Do you know, I have
But
a
when I
pencil.
saw Gerard when I saw Gerard in Ireland, what was it, 3 weeks ago now? He's actually got a countdown on the lock screen of his phone, which is
He has.
pretty cool.
Not that he's keen to retire or anything.
Oh, man.
No, he's chomping at the bit.
I have a pencil in my pocket all day long, and when I want one, I ain't got one.
There's a shot.
Behind your ear.
No,
I was going to say,
Yes.
good, Steve, it was a lovely rounded blank you had on there before you.
For what? God.
What
Is
you try to say? It's not round now.
No, sorry. What I meant was it was brilliantly centered.
Yeah.
Better than this one on Saturday or Sunday even. I put one on Sunday on Dan's store, and that was wobbly all over the place. I blame Mark though.
Oh, at least I centered it.
Oh, you did. Yours was perfect, nearly.
Gerard's got 1 month to go as of tomorrow.
No. A month? No, he hasn't. He couldn't have.
Just said there, like
I thought he said
one day
Christmas
less
for
than
us.
yesterday and 1 month more than tomorrow.
That's one more than tomorrow. One
Oh,
day
yeah.
less than yesterday and one
That's
more
not
than
good
tomorrow.
eyesight, you see.
Oh,
See,
Terry,
such a-
wake up.
see-
Goodness sake.
See if I'm such a good turner.
Steve, tell me-
Turning's in.
Sit a bit closer to the screen, Terry.
Yes,
My
Mark.
focus is not working very well.
Tell me about the blank you've got on there, Steve. I've seen that it's ash. Is it wet?
No, shouldn't be. It's been stood in my store for, I don't know, 18 months, maybe a bit more.
All right, okay.
That should be fairly dry then.
Oh, look, nice bit of texture in there. Look. Right, so 20.
Oh, look at that. Stephen Gordon just arrived in 4 Marks, which is where I am. Ready for the AWGB training day tomorrow. Yeah, that's thanks for that, Stephen. Looking forward to seeing you tomorrow. For those of you who don't know, and for those of you who might have young people around, the AWGB, the Association of Woodturners of Great Britain, have a very active and popular youth training scheme that goes on, and they run free courses for young people up and down the country several times a year. And tomorrow we've got 6 young people coming to the wood turning shop to have a go at wood turning. I think some of them are for the first time, and a couple of others, this is their second visit. So Les Thorne and I will be going through some turning projects with them, and we also have B Matthews, as in Andy Matthews' wife, who will be doing some pyrography with them too. So that's 6 young people with a day's professional tuition from 2 professional turners and a pyrographer as well, completely free. If you do have young people, get in touch with the AWGB and sign them up. And I think it also includes a 3 years membership to the AWGB.
Wow.
And these are funded by the Worshipful Company of Turners in London and also the AWGB themselves. And we'll be very lucky tomorrow, Steve, that we will be having a visit from the master of the Worshipful Company of Turners, as well as 2 past masters.
Wow.
So
Well, very good.
very cool.
Joe Senior's joined us. Also, Gary Glass got a question for you, Martin. Love only lacquer finish. A couple of pieces, but both times look like an orange peel effect. I think it's called. What causes that? Question mark.
Yes, Gary. The orange peel effect you will get with lacquers because you're trying to spray something onto a very, very smooth surface, and it will happen whether you're spraying flat work or round work. And the only way to get around that is either to keep spraying on consecutive coats until essentially you fill up all of the orange peel over consecutive coats, lots and lots and lots of coats, or after every coat or after every other coat, like I do, so every 2 coats, very lightly cut it back, and that will remove the peaks of the orange peel and leave essentially a key, lots of scratches on the surface for the next coat to adhere to. And after about 4 coats or so, something like that, the orange peel smooth right out. It's a very, very common thing with all lacquers.
Could that then be, Martin, could you not have such a smooth finish, i.e. maybe just a 240 finish?
Yep.
That work?
You have just a 240 finish, but the same as with any decorative, in inverted commas, any decorative finish, you do need to seal the wood. A lot of American tanners don't use a sanding sealer, so they will put on, in many cases, like 20 coats of wipe-on polyurethane. What happens is the first 4 coats soak into the end grain of their pieces, which is quite an expensive way to essentially seal the wood. So if you use a sanding sealer first and use it properly, you'll use, in most cases, say 2 coats of sanding sealer, and then you can just put on, for example, 4 coats or 6 coats of wipe-on polyurethane and save yourself a load of money without having to essentially over-finish something.
Okay.
There we go. Joe's asking, have I finished jetting off now so you can make loads of snow people? Joe, yeah, good question. I have been jetting off around the place, which sounds all very glamorous, but it's exhausting, to be fair. Yeah, I'm back in the country now before I start a world tour of Axminster stores in January. And as for making loads of snow people, I haven't got time. We've got loads of tuition coming up. I've got an enormous filming schedule that I'm putting together as well, and I need prep and plan for 2023.
Busy man.
Yeah. Got to keep busy. With the recession, the best thing to do with the recession that we're in is just keep yourself even busier.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then you just forget it's happening.
Alex of Wid Things has joined us. Blue Light Turner Scott's joined us. Dicey's joined us. Paul Cavanagh's joined us. Just a few. Welcome aboard.
Question there from Robert Klingspur Abrasive. He would like to know what grit is best to start using these products from. So we suggest 400. 400 possibly?
That's a very good question. The best abrasive to start from would be the most appropriate for the quality of your tooling. So if you've got excellent tool presentation and a super smooth surface, then sometimes you might only need to start from, say, 180 or even 240. Whereas if you've got a particularly bad piece of wood, or your tooling could do with some improvement, then maybe 120, something like that. So it's not a case of one particular manufacturer starts at this one. It's the most appropriate grit for the quality of the surface you've left off the tool.
And is there a maximum grit size? Like, would you go up to 600 or 800 or 400, or where would you finish your sanding?
That's a good question, Brian. I generally finish sanding at 400 because I add so much color to my work. Any higher than 400, then what happens is during the abrading process, wood gets very, very hot, or tends to get very hot, and actually starts to seal itself, which with the dyes, when using dyes and stains and stuff, you want a little bit of penetration into the wood. So if the wood's gotten hot and started to seal itself, then just smear on the surface rather than penetrating into the wood, which actually leads for a poorer absorption of colour. Klingspor's also asking, are suppliers allowed to join the AWGB? Yes, there is a corporate membership. I think it's about 40 quid a year, maybe 30 quid a year. If you head over to awgb.co.uk, I think it is, you can find the corporate membership details there.
As Russell Gibbs says, there's lots of training on the AWG website that is non-youth training, so other people can be trained as well, because somebody did ask a question.
They also do that too. Both Les and I have run grown-up training.
Adult. Non-children.
I may not be entirely grown up.
You said that.
There are adult training opportunities as well that are, I think they are just funded by the AWGB. I'm not sure, but there are adult opportunities as well. Again, up and down the country from various workshops and professional.
Russell's also stated all people joining the AWGB under 22 are free.
Oh,
that's something I didn't know.
That's brilliant if it is. So if any of you got youngsters out there under the age of 22, Get him to join the AWGB.
You can join if you want, Glenn. Glenn wants to know if retired sellouts can join the AWGB. Yes, you can, Glenn.
We must be careful because some of the viewers this evening might be under 22.
Exactly.
Probably
Right.
not.
I wouldn't imagine there's that many.
Well, none of the names I recognise there are under 22.
No. Doug Miller's asking how long before the new products will be at the Walnut Log. That's for his American, Martin.
Ooh.
Who's that? Sorry.
Doug Miller wants to know how long until the products will be stored at the Walnut Log.
Doug Miller. When he orders them, basically. Jeff has known about them for the last weeks. But I know he's had a few personal disasters and a couple of personal tragedies he's working through at the moment. So as soon as he orders them, I will be shipping them to him. And early next week, Woodworld of Texas will be receiving them. That's Woodworld of Texas.
Brilliant. Stephen the Wood Dude's joined us, and Athens Wood Studios joined us, and he is only 21 years old. So get on. You may join the AWGB.
Who is?
If you're in
Derek. Derek.
Studio.
He's lying. That's Derek.
Says I'm 21.
Yeah, so he is in his head.
Alan Barr says it. Well, yeah.
Only in his head.
Oh, what 21 stone do you mean?
No, that's Paul
Ooh.
Kavanagh.
Oh,
Stuart?
Just checking on.
what's this abuse the viewers tonight, is it?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, somebody said something about 22 stone.
That was Paul Kavanagh. That's what he said.
Stuart
So-
clearly says he's under 22 stone.
I know Stuart in Guernsey. He's nowhere near 22 stone.
Wayne the Woodturner wants to know when we're going to see the Martin and Terry Furniture Moving Company starting.
Yeah. It's called management, Wayne, an organisation. Martin was the manager and I organised it. Simple.
He's just moved the chairs in a 5-star hotel.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I had to think for a minute there. What's that one? But then I just remember back to our club
Ding.
meeting. Yeah.
All right, let's
Penny
get that.
It's okay, we had the penny dropping all the way down through the slot.
Let's get that sanded up. So, since Martin said you got to start with the grit that you need, who is my 40 grit?
Sorry,
Rasp file.
Hopeful, Steve.
Right, let's get some sanding done.
Rob Copperell for coming in.
Oh,
Rob. Good evening, everybody. I haven't said hello to everybody yet. Good evening to everybody. We have 85 people watching.
Fantastic. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you very much, everybody, for coming over.
For those who have just joined or not long joined, Steve's about to try out two of Martin's 5 new products. Easier to make sure he does
All good.
Chuck them all over the floor.
Chris Mungham says he's only 12. Can I join? Yeah, we're talking about your actual age, not your mental age, Doug. Oh, dear. Gary Glass says, how's the weather at Hainbrine? The weather is fine. It's going to be -1 tonight. Here, Gary, my friend.
Yeah, we've got frost coming in.
It's going to be cold.
Is that the
And
first
David Vaughan has just joined us. This will be the first frost here. No, it's the second frost we've had. We had a tiny little frost about mid-October.
Wow, we haven't had any.
No, him and the frost.
We've got
Robert Broadwood's
frost.
joined us as well. He's
Hi,
been
Robert.
21 3 times.
Yeah, I know.
Looking at
Okay.
the dust off there, it does look like Steve started with 40 grit as well.
Evening to Mark Harvey. Mark Harvey asks, is it water-based or oil-based, the products, Martin?
They're both acrylic. Well, they're all acrylic apart from the sealer, which is nitrocellulose.
Steve getting on. Should we have a look?
Well, should we? Oh, okay then.
If we have to.
Well, he's sanding anyway, so he's at the exciting bit.
Very meticulous, isn't he? Look, he's even sanding the bottom of the tenon.
Actually, I'm going to leave it on. I'm going to leave it on. That's why.
It's staying on. That's his foot. It's not the channel.
I'm going to cheat.
Did we say hello to David Vaughan? Hi, David. If we didn't,
We did. Not David.
did you? Did you?
Mentioned it was in.
How do you know you mentioned it?
TFL Works is in as well. Good evening.
TFL
TLF.
or TLF? There you go. All right, TLF. Whatever TLF is, let me have a look.
Does temperature make a difference then if you warm the wood up at all, Martin?
Yeah, if you warm the wood up, it'll dry a bit quicker.
Do you think the average drying time is for normal room temperature then?
It will also depend on the ambient humidity.
Mm-hmm.
But probably 10 minutes, something like that. And what I tend to do is I encourage it. I encourage them all the products to dry with a hot air gun or a hairdryer. But you do have to be very careful when encouraging solvent-based products to dry with heat sources. For two reasons. One, they are obviously flammable, being aerosol, but also if you do happen to get them too hot, then they blister, as I'm sure anybody who's been impatient enough to use a hot air gun or some lacquer will know. Get it too hot, they blister. Matthew Lawrence, do you always take your tenons off? No, it depends what I'm turning. It depends what I'm turning and the style of the piece that I'm turning. But for the majority of bowls, yes, the tenon will come off because I turn a separate foot. Oh, TLF is Todd from SWAT. Hi, Todd. How are you?
Hi.
I shared far too many beers with Todd at the bar at the hotel at SWAT.
Never. Russell is explaining about the young people. If a young person is under 22, there must be at the start under 22 years at the start of subscription year and wants to try wood turning, then he must be accompanied by an adult who can give their permission.
Mm-hmm.
And the adult must remain in the presence of the tutor and the young person at all times. It would also be useful to have a second member of the club observing. It seems to be a whole lot of technical stuff there. Russell, thank you for that.
Easier just to pay the £18 to join for the year. You're 22, isn't it? Not have to have your dad with you.
Kill the old
You know
street
what I
cred.
Yeah, ruins your street cred is right.
My dad's with me. I'm 22.
Alan
My dad's with me.
Beersford says acrylics don't like damp weather. They pick up moisture, apparently.
Yeah, that's very true. Acrylics aren't keen on damp weather. My workshop isn't the driest in the world, and I haven't had any problems with any of them that I've ever used. It's all to do with how you apply them. And the lighter the coat, the better if you are in a damp workshop. And if you can keep a little bit of heat on somewhere, or even just a little going over with a hairdryer, then you can actually remove the moisture from it very successfully.
All right, so Matt, satin, sand and sealer.
Have you shook it, shaken
Shook it. I'm shooking it, Michael. I mean, Martin, I'm shooking it.
Michael. Most people, if people get my name wrong, they normally call me Simon.
Simon.
Yeah, the most common misnaming I receive is Simon. At least they're the ones that I choose to acknowledge. I've been called some other things.
So everybody in the chat, Simon says.
Okay, Steve, is this the first time you've used it?
Yes, it is.
Okay, give it away from the piece first.
Ooh.
I noticed I made that mistake today.
So it's supposed to be stringy.
Yeah,
That's why you spray
That's
first.
why. Yeah. That was the mistake I made. I got the big. It was like
Ah,
silly
there we go.
string.
There we go. There we go. There we
Cleans
go.
out the nozzle, I think.
We have a fine spray now.
There we go. So give it a light dusting, working in an arc around the piece. That's it. Move it about 120 degrees between thingies, and once you've gone round once, that's it. Leave it.
That's
Leave
the
it.
mistake I made today, Terry. I did it twice.
I watched you make the mistake. Why is this running?
What I would
No,
suggest, Steve, is to now, just to help with the airflow and to speed it up for the benefit of the viewers, is turn the lathe on and slow the speed down.
Okay.
And if anybody was watching any of the demonstrations I did using these products at Harrogate, you would have seen me doing exactly this, just to get a little bit of airflow, and that'll help speed the drying process up.
Brian obviously took no notice of it, because when he opened the can today, he went, I'm going to use this stuff to... No, I better work that off.
And to be honest with you, Brian, I did exactly the same thing on day one at Harrogate.
Silly string. It's fine.
It was in Ireland.
To an
I did
island, yeah. Yeah.
Did it in Ireland, yeah.
Carpentry store, yeah.
Nick Castle made the same mistake and ended up with globules. Tells us.
Yep. It's a good learning exercise, though. You'll not do it twice.
And is that with all of them, Martin? All the 5?
No, I've
Just
not.
the cedar?
Just a sanding seal.
Yeah.
The black lacquer thing works fine. Well, the black, the black lacquer works fine. It was no bother.
Todd, yes, the new products are coming to Dallas. They should be with Craig at Woodworld of Texas, probably Tuesday or Wednesday. Hopefully. International dangerous goods shipping is an absolute nightmare. Check this out, right? I've got about 180 kilos of stuff heading over to Woodworld of Texas. And I've got a very specific document that I need to fill out called a dangerous goods declaration. Is that feeling all right, Steve?
Yes, dry.
Okay, right. Give that a little bit of a burnish up with some kitchen towel. Don't press too hard, but just denib the surface a little bit. Right. Yes. So I've got a very specific document called a dangerous goods declaration, which was filled out absolutely perfectly, or so I thought. So 180 kilos of dangerous goods. My waxes, lacquers, oils, colours, all sorts of stuff. Left the workshop here in Four Marks, Hampshire. Went to East Midlands Airport. Was flown from East Midlands Airport to New York. And then on to Cincinnati, where somebody checked the paperwork and sent it all the way back to Four Marks, Hampshire, because I made a spelling mistake.
Gosh, that's ridiculous.
I wrote the word overpacked instead of overpack used, and they sent it all the way back from Cincinnati for 3 letters.
That's
Wow.
ridiculous.
Kidding me.
Wouldn't they just ring you?
That's what you would have thought, but no, they sent it all. Not that it made any difference to any amount of danger in the aircraft or anything. Packing groups, the packing instructions, and the risk categories, etc., were all correct. I had literally left off the letters U, S, and E.
Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous.
They charged me 162 quid for the privilege.
That just proves how stupid the world's getting.
I know, it's bonkers. Right, how's that, Steve?
Yep, all nice and smooth.
So Jared is asking a question. He says, slow speed, question mark. If your lathe doesn't go under 500, what do you do?
Run it at
Don't turn
500.
Don't switch it on.
Don't switch it on. No, the only reason I say turn it on, slow it down, is to get the airflow going for the benefit of the viewers. I would just, under normal circumstances, I would just leave it, because at 500, if you do have too much on there, then the centrifugal force could spit some of it off, and obviously you don't want to be in the way when that happens.
Mark already saying about dangerous.
Another
Sorry,
one
go on.
for
One more.
We have 99 people watching, Steve.
Wow.
hey.
Right.
Mark Harvey says dangerous goods are a nightmare. Try shipping C4 around the country.
Yeah, I can imagine, Mark. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
do we give that a second coat, or is one coat enough, Martin?
Yeah, it depends on the wood. I can't see.
It
Just
was
turn
really
around.
it was really dry there.
Just turn it
end
around.
grains.
That, yeah, stick another coat on the end grains a little bit. It's not quite the same as the side grain.
It's soaked in really quick on the end grain.
Want to try moving C4 in this country, Mark? That would be a whole different ballgame.
Well, if you're doing the back of a Cortina, what do you expect?
Yeah, exactly.
Seth from Brickhouse Craftsworks has joined us.
Nice,
Hi,
Seth.
Seth.
Hey, Seth.
Right, so layer on low, bit of air. So obviously you could, if you wanted to, just with a nice gentle warm gun, just or a hairdryer, just to dry that off.
You could, if you're impatient enough. Yes, you can use a hairdryer or a
Hot hair gun.
Hot air gun.
You could use a hot air gun or a hairdryer.
So Nick Castles is asking, after sanding sealer, I had what looked like a cloudy ring on the surface. What would be the cause of this?
No idea, Nick.
Would it not be a colour in the wood?
It could be, without actually having a look at it and knowing which product it is. I can't really say.
Lewis, the Klondike Craftsman's just joined us.
Hi,
Right,
Lewis.
Brickhouse is asking, how does this sanding sealer compare to the pre-thinned cellulose sanding sealer? That's a really, really good question, Brickhouse. They are essentially, I mean, they are made by two different people, but they are both cellulose based. So in that essence, they are the same. But with what the main difference is between a wipe-on sanding sealer and a spray-on is if you use a wipe-on sanding sealer, particularly over colour, some of the colour is going to come off on the towel, whereas a spray, you don't have to touch the colours anymore. So a spray will preserve the blend that you've got actually on the wood. And plus with, excuse me, I've been drinking Diet Coke and I've got terrible wind. I do apologise. Yes, if you use a wipe-on sanding sealer, you're asking specifically about my pre-thinned one. You have the best control over the surface that you are producing with that sanding sealer. Personally, if some of the colour comes off on the pieces that I'm making, I don't care. It makes no difference to me at all. What I want is a level of control over the quality or the amount of sealer that is left on the surface. The spray sealer, you do require perhaps fewer coats depending upon the porosity of the wood, the species, etc., blah, blah, blah. But you will generally get away with 2 coats, and this will leave a film or a surface on the wood. If Steve just turns it round now, keep going, a little bit quicker, you should just be able to see the colour change, or the chatoyance there, just on that top bit. Turn it back again, Steve. There you go. So it does actually give sort of a surface finish just by itself, whereas the wipe-on pre-thin cellulose sealer doesn't. Of the two, at the moment at least, because the spray sealer is brand new, I'm absolutely loving it. But there will be times when I would want to be using a wipe-on sanding sealer that will give a slightly smoother finish than the spray. Wow, there we go.
And breathe.
Regroup. Another drink.
Right.
Yep.
So what we do now? Black?
Yeah, make sure you give that a good shake as well. TLF, Todd, yes, that is completely normal. And it won't smear the colours. It'll just take the a tiny little bit of the surface colour off and just help to blend around the edges. Brickhouse, you're welcome.
Leo is in. Hello, Lionel.
Lionel has joined us. Hi, Lionel.
Bonsoir, Lionel. Ça va? That's it. That is the extent of my French, other than asking.
We're done.
Post office. I'm taking the dog, and can I have a beer?
Yeah, it is. Matt Harbour was just saying that wood looks like ash.
It is ash.
It is indeed, Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Is that
good observation?
Steve
Clean
has it
sport.
ash.
The coating's safe. The honest answer to that, Klingsborg, is I don't know. They have not been tested, so I cannot say yes or no. I don't know if they are food safe or not. They are not marked as such. But my standard answer for people when a product isn't marked as food safe is I don't know. So they are best used for decorative items until I can get them tested if I decide to go ahead and do it.
Jeff Tidy's just joined us, as is Martin Ford. Jeff wants to know if the products are available in France yet.
No, not yet. My distributor in France is, I can't remember. They're just outside of Paris anyway. I can't remember who they are. They have not ordered them yet. They are literally, they came out week before last, sorry. Martin's also saying if it's East Midlands, JFK, Cincinnati, DHL. Yes, that is correct. DHL.
Well, I'm just going to cover my chuck up just in case.
Klondike. I'll be releasing a Mike Walt line of colours. What, brown?
Brown, yeah, brown.
They've got one, Lewis. It's called Earth.
Yeah, it's got Earth. Yeah, it's called Earth.
Right.
That's right. Yeah, Bordeaux is my distributor in France. Yeah, Bordeaux. I'm sorry, I had forgotten. I beg your pardon. Right, so apply this in exactly the same way. So go round in an arc, Steve. That'll do. Make sure you get it all the way up to the top. That's it. Right, leave it there. Don't. The same with any lacquer. Don't go mad with the amount that you're putting on all at once.
In other words, don't do like Brian tried to today.
It's got a really wide spray nozzle.
It has.
Oh, you can. It is at the moment it is a fan spray, and the little thing on the nozzle you can actually change.
Right, to the other direction.
You can.
Yeah, so you can turn it from vertical to horizontal.
Right.
Alan Gibbs has just joined us and asked what we're doing tonight. Well, tonight Steve's making a bowl, strangely enough, but he's trying out Martin's new products. Two of Martin's new products on an ash blanket this moment.
We're a bit late putting that towel on, Steve.
That looks like a nice coverage there, Steve.
I'm not going to turn live on with that cloth there, don't worry.
Chris from Bailey's Book
slap.
has joined us, I should say. Good evening, Chris.
Good evening,
Chris. Hi, Alan. That looks like it's got really nice coverage there.
Yeah, it has. Obviously, you can see the soft grain in it, but it's good. It's good. Just a little bit on that edge of rim there.
You'll be cutting that off anyway.
The bit you missed.
Yeah, the bit I missed. Well, I was worried about going over my lathe, but I don't know if I should have worried, really. I might just flash off. Go on.
My lathe is black and blue. If you do want to get that lacquer off before it gets too dry, use isopropyl alcohol.
Right, okay, I've got some in the cupboard. I'll do it while I'm waiting.
Paul Kavanagh, yes, it is the black gloss, and I saw Anne at the weekend at the Harrogate show, and it hasn't turned up in Dublin yet, so she's going to let me know the box number for that consignment. Excuse me, which was sent with UPS, not DHL.
Martin Ford thinks you may be able to get your money back, Martin.
Sorry, Terry?
Martin Ford says that, Martin, just thinking, if they did not check the paperwork correctly before they left, then you may be able to get your money back.
It might be worth looking at that, Martin, but apparently the declarations and stuff aren't checked until they get to Cincinnati.
That's clever.
I know, it's bizarre, isn't it? But
yeah.
There we are. That's what. Anyway, I don't know. I've only recently taken on DHL as a distributor because FedEx are getting incredibly expensive and a pain in the backside. Steve Ash. Hey, hi Steve. How are you? Nice to see you. It was great to see you last week. I don't know why I'm waving. I'm waving.
Nobody can see you, Mark.
You're just waving at us, Mark.
You guys watching Mr. Kierville.
Hi, Mark.
Yes, I am kind of recovering. I still haven't had a day off. It probably won't happen for another week. Roy's the boy. Is the black lacquer different from ebonizing lacquer? They're both black paints.
There you go.
Is it better to use open grain wood for application? Asks Alan. Doesn't matter, Alan. What I'm going to suggest to Steve when that dries off is to put some white embellishing wax into the grain. Steve, turn the lathe on.
He never does that. We do tell him. He
Turn-
never turns it on.
Slow it down.
Hey, slow
then-
down. That's as slow as that'll go.
Oh, is it? Okay. Yeah, because otherwise, if you use a hot air gun with the lathe stationary, turning it by hand, you can inadvertently get it too hot in one.
Spots. Right,
Yeah. Right. Where was that question? Yeah, Alan. Is it better to use open grain wood? Doesn't matter. You can use it on closed grain wood, like sycamore, which is my favourite, and you end up with a super glossy, really super smooth surface after it's been polished up. And if you do it on the inside of a bowl, the black is so black you just fall into it. You just disappear into it. It looks fantastic. So it doesn't matter what you use it on. It will work just as well with anything.
Rob from Kingsport Abrasive says, what was the focus to launch this range of products, Mike?
That's a very, very good question. So what was the chap from Kingsport called?
Rob King.
Rob. Yeah, Rob. Basically, I've been thinking about a pro range for a while, and the two lacquers I had prior to this was just a clear gloss and a black, and they were good. Well, they are good. I still have some in my own private stash, but I was finding the number of coats needed to get the depth of shine I wanted were too many. So I thought, let's just invest in a range of spray products that I formulate with a local company, get to know them, and they can actually make the products exactly as I want them, rather than another company. I want this lacquer to do this. I've actually had meetings with this particular company. They've been absolutely superb, and they have, or rather we have, between us, we formulated these 5 products to be exactly as I want them, and they knock the other products into a cocked hat. There we go.
Right, I like that. It's nice.
Got
a nice even sheen to it.
Yeah. Pete, what is happening to the black nearest on the?
Yeah, he corrected it further down. He said that's just the reflection.
Oh, right. All right. Okay. Another question
Seth.
from Britain. How would you recommend spraying your gloss lacquer on something that has a large piercings or holes in it? Because the large holes pack the lacquer between coats very well. I would, in one respect. Does anybody know Brickhouse's real name?
Seth.
Seth. Right. Okay. Seth. I would actually question if you've got something that's is that pierced or pierced. I would actually question why you would want a gloss finish on something that has been pierced, as to my mind the piercing is part of the actual finishing process, so the piece is going to look quite busy with the piercing in it, and if you put a gloss on top of that, what my personal fear would be is that gloss would overpower the actual piercing. If you look at work from somebody like Helen Bailey, for example, with her piercing, it's absolutely stunning. I don't think she's got any pieces that are super high gloss. That's because the piercing underneath the finish is what the piece is about. Whereas with a super gloss shiny piece, you want the gloss to be deep enough. I hope this is making sense. You want the gloss to be deep enough to reveal the wood or the colours underneath. Whereas if you've got piercing, I think the two will contradict each other. So that's what I would suggest. Or if you are absolutely convinced that you want to do that, Seth, super light coats, and just as it touches gloss, leave it.
Ward Wilson has joined us from the
Hi,
west
Ward.
coast of Arizona. Hello, Ward.
My ward.
Paul Kavanagh's asking, he's got some of the old lacquers. Can they be used in conjunction with the new ones?
Yep. Yep, no problem. They're both acrylic.
So white Hampshire sheen ebonizer lacquer. No, embellished
dry
wax
yet?
linen. Yeah, it's dry.
No, dry.
White.
Is it gone?
Gone where? Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah, gone, hasn't gone off. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, cool. So what the white embellishing wax in there? Gerard, the gloss lacquer is not yet available. Yes, it is. There is a gloss and a gloss black. So I think you're
It's
talking
not
about,
available in the carpentry store just yet, he says. He wants to know, can he use the satin lacquer, and then the clear gloss over the top of the satin?
the gloss over the satin.
Yeah. Probably could have, wouldn't it?
Say tentative yes, because I think I've done it, but I can't remember. It might have been the gloss black I put over the satin. So I'm going to say a tentative yes. You normally put a gloss over a satin because the product in the satin lacquer or satin lacquers is actually talc, and they can essentially turn the gloss satin in some instances. So I'm going to say a tentative yes.
Roy's the boy's just asking. Can you use embellishing wax with this product? Look on the screen, Roy.
You can indeed.
Rob from Klingspor's again asking, is there a need to sand between coats or not?
Not with the black, really, that I've noticed in testing, nor with the clear gloss either. They both, when you use the product, you'll notice that somebody mentioned orange peeling earlier on. You'll notice with these products that the orange peeling is actually much smaller than other lacquers available. That's because we've done our best to make them as self-leveling as possible. So you can sand between coats if you want to, just to even it out a touch, but there's not really a need to. If you want a super deep dark gloss, if you want a super deep gloss, then yes, sand back between coats. And I would put the sanding sealer on first, one coat of clear gloss, leave it for 10 minutes, second coat of clear gloss, and then very lightly sand back with probably 600. I've used 600 in testing and it's worked beautifully. Clean the dust off, another 2 coats, sand back with 600, and then polish as you would do normally.
John Scarborough got a good question. How are your qualifications in chemistry, Martin? If not, how did you start in your field for this?
That's a very good question, John. Right. First and foremost, although you wouldn't believe it, I'm a professional wood turner rather than a manufacturer. But the way things are going, the manufacturing and the production of the finishes has overtaken the wood turning somewhat, which is helpful because it's the finishes that pay me. Now, I got into making finishes because the finishes I was using when I was starting out in turning, I wasn't happy with. They weren't giving me the level of shine that I wanted, nor the longevity of surface. So I literally started playing around in my garage. And if you go back through my YouTube channel, you can actually see the very first video where I said I want to start making my own wax product. So I literally started playing. I looked at safety data sheets from various different manufacturers and found out what they were using. And with safety data sheets, you get a bracket of percentages. Mm-hmm. So beeswax, somewhere between 15 and 30%, for example. Solvents, 60 to 80%, whatever. So I literally started playing around in the garage with different waxes, oils, solvents, stuff like that, mixing, playing around, very much corner of a garage chemistry. and came up with a recipe that worked. And that was the summer of 2015. And that was the very first product, which was at the time just called Hampshire Sheen, in the same way that Yorkshire Grit was called Yorkshire Grit. It was a single product. And then I sent a few out to some friends to see if they liked it. They said, yes, we think it's absolutely brilliant. It does exactly what you want it to do. So then I thought, right, let's get it out to market. So I thought about it and worked it all out properly, blah, 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 blah. So then I think it was September or October 2015, the Hampshire Sheen company was born, but still with the single product called Hampshire Sheen. And then a few months down the line, people had started buying it. Oliver's Wood Turning started stocking it, and sort of thing. And a few people then started saying, can you do a gloss version? So I went, yeah, okay, let's have a play with that. So another 6 weeks later, and another investment in wax and solvents and blah, blah, blah. The gloss wax, at the time it was called High Gloss. The High Gloss wax was born, which meant the first product couldn't be called Hampshire Sheen anymore. So that changed to be Hampshire Sheen Original. And then we had the gloss, the High Gloss wax, and things have just grown from there. And the same sort of thing with the colours, the colour range that I do, the Intrinsic Colour Collection, that's a range of colours that are unique to me and Hampshire Sheen. They are my own design of shades. They're a little bit more muted than some of the other colours that are available. They're great, the other colours, don't get me wrong, but I wanted a range of colours that was slightly more muted, slightly more understated, rather than really bright and cheerful. And that's how the Intrinsic Colour Collection was born. And I quite literally designed 12 shades on my kitchen table with droppers of concentrated colours, some bottles of water, some pipettes, kitchen towel, and some maple. And I literally spent all afternoon one Sunday just mixing drops. They were highly concentrated, mixing drops of colour, wiping them on the maple, going, oh, I don't like that, sanding it off, doing it again. I like that one. I'm going to call that colour ruby or midnight blue or whatever. And that's how that range came about.
Very good.
There's been a couple of questions in the chat there about Steve removing the excess wax and wondering what he was using to remove it.
Just a bit of tissue. I think that might have been because the black lacquer wasn't quite dry, so it was a bit. I know there's dry and then there's hard, isn't there? So I don't think it was quite hard, but it's come off with a piece of tissue. To be honest, it didn't take a lot of rubbing off. Just obviously going over it to get it off.
Matt Harbour has just said, no offence to anyone here, he says, but if I'm using embellishing waxes, I prefer to use colour stains, since the lacquer can fill the cavities in the grain.
Yeah, that's a good point there, Matt. And what I did actually forget to tell Steve to do is to actually clean the grain out first.
Oops.
Well, you can still see it. You can still see it.
It looks very nice, Steve, I have to say.
Stunning, actually.
Well,
striking
I like to think if you put a micron over the actual thing, you only put a micron over, so the depth should be the same, shouldn't it?
Won't be very much, anyway.
If you've put a micron of colour over the whole piece, the depth should be the same depth.
Yeah, but only if you're using if you're using stains, then obviously your embellishing wax would go in further than if you use
because the stains sink in, the lacquer's sitting on top.
Yeah,
that's basically
it's still gone in though. It still looks great.
Yeah.
It does.
I know what Matt. I love that effect that Steve's done there. But there is something really nice about just a coloured piece of wood with the wax in the grain, particularly the other colours as well. Because there are 9 colours in the range, and I like that black and white. John Scarborough, thank you very much.
Right, let's get this flipped.
He does, John. I agree. Works extremely hard.
He does. He's a busy man.
And Matt Hell got a good point. He says, once you see the garden centre where Hampshire Sheen offices are, located, the colours make much more sense. They seem to be inspired by nature.
Bit, Matt, they are quite a natural, range, I suppose. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's get that out of the way. Let's move that out of the way. Put the lid back on that. Actually, turn it upside down and spray that in the bin.
So the reason you're turning it upside down and spraying it in the bin is just to clear the nozzle, is that correct?
Yep. I don't know if it would, but some paints clog, don't they, if you leave them a period of time.
Yeah, make sure you do that all every time with the sanding sealer, because it is designed to go hard and seal the wood, and it will seal the nozzle if you don't blow it clear.
Are the nozzles replaceable, just in case?
Yep. Yeah, and if you do replace the nozzle, and what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find a nozzle that I like with a cone pattern rather than the fan.
Yeah.
Rather than the fan, but it's got to be a low volume nozzle.
Paul Finley's just joined us, and we've now got 104 people watching, Steve.
Wow.
Hey.
Thank you very much.
Paul says he's sorry, Steve, he's late. He's been watching in the car.
All right, Paul, we'll forgive you.
Oh, well.
You're not late,
We weren't
mate.
driving, Paul.
You're not late.
You're not
You're not
late.
late.
You've only missed it. You've only missed the bike pit.
Here. Great to see you all along.
Oh, thank you, Gary. Gary's just, my videos are very educational, which is great. There will be a heap of new videos coming in 2023. I'm actually changing. Well, I'm sure most of you know by now, but I've teamed up with Les Thorne, and he's in a workshop directly behind mine. And knowing, and you will probably also know that I like to keep my production values as high as possible. And when he's working literally behind the other side of the wall, there's background noise in the audio. So I'm actually changing the way I work. I'm actually now, from the day after tomorrow, I'm actually working Sundays in order to get some filming done whilst it's quiet, and not having to wait until Les has got a day off or he's out or something like that in order to film. So every Sunday is going to be my filming day, and if I'm lucky, I can have the Monday off afterwards.
Jewish.
How often is that going to happen, Martin?
Never.
How often?
Alan Gibbs says, Martin, are you solely working on new products, or are you going to do some wood turning?
Oh, Alan, if only you knew. It's not new. You know, I'm releasing. I think it's about 2 products a year, but this is it for now. I'm desperate to update the how-to videos for the range, because they're about 5 years old now, I think, and there are still some products missing from those 2-minute tutorials on the Hampshire Sheen YouTube channel. So my first project is to make 2 videos for every product. 1 2-minute tutorial that's going to be going up on YouTube, and a longer one that's going to be available to view on the website. So one's going to be a real quick, this is how to do it. The other one's going to be probably 10-15 minutes long of this is how you do it, if that makes sense.
Steve Ash has got a question. There's a couple of more, but this one here's important, I think. He says he's coloured blind. So sometimes you have an issue when the name of the colour doesn't say what the colour is. Name on the tin.
I think they do they not, really?
Black.
No, blue, black, sky blue, forest green. Ruby might be a little tricky. What I would suggest, Steve, is... Oh, hang on 1 second. You could have told me that at Harrogate.
Why keep him waiting?
Yeah.
Each of the 250 ml bottles has a description of the colour, and most of them say what the colour also blends really nicely with. But if you head over to the Hampshire Sheen website, Steve, at hampshiresheen.com/colours, you can actually download some colour wheels with some blending ideas on there. So even if you are colourblind, if you were to pick, say, the I've forgotten what it's called. If you were to pick the hang on a minute, I've got to go and get them because I have forgotten what they.
I'm thinking about doing some texture on this edge. What do you reckon? Or should I just do a bowl?
Yeah.
I think you should. I think you should texture away at it.
You have a go, mate.
Texture away.
Enhance it. It's nice.
Get on with it.
I've lost them. Oh no, they are. Found them.
Over there on the left.
That's not like you.
Next to your spray gun.
Not that any of you can see me, but I've just been rummaging through all the boxes that I've not unpacked yet. So Steve, if you go and download the color charts and the diagrams there, even if you are colorblind, you can. There are six color themes that you can.
Steve, can you put Martin on full screen? Oh, he's got. I was going to say he's got them there.
Oh, he's got them. Well done, Steve. So there are six there are six color themes there, and it gives you the colors that you need for them. So you're guaranteed to get a nice blend with them, even if you are colorblind.
Oh, excuse me.
There you go. Look at that now.
And I'd recommend laminating them if you take them in the workshop, because this is about the seventh set I've printed off.
Yeah.
Stuart Angulia says, Martin, is there an appreciable difference between your black and white embellishing waxes and your old sea wax and tie wax?
No appreciable difference. The reason why we changed them to black and white is nobody understood what sea wax was and nobody understood what tie wax was.
It's a bit
And
confusing.
also he asks further down which video would the QR code jump to?
Sea wax was carbon black and tie wax was titanium dioxide. No. Yes.
There you go. Complicated, that's what I said.
Now, Steve, is there a way to tell colours for us awkward people? Hang on. Yeah, I've just had a look on the back of the 250ml bottle of plum. It says sumptuous purple. So the description of the colours is actually written on the back of the bottles.
Rob from Kingsford says, is there a preferred base coat?
There's the link to the Hampshire Sheen website and to the colours.
John Scott's video does the QR code take you to. It just takes you to the how-to page, so all of the product videos will be there. Oh, and Steve, no problem. Don't worry about it. If you've got any other queries, drop me a line, let me know, give me a ring.
Rob from Kingsford says, Martin, is there a preferred base coat colour to enhance the top coat colour? The stains, you mean?
I would think so. Yeah, good question. In demonstrations I tend to use black because that is the most dramatic. That gives the most dramatic contrast between the undercoat colours and the overcoat colours, particularly on figured woods. So put the black on first, or a very dark red, for example. Put a very dark red on, or use the ruby colour with a touch of black in it just to darken it down. Put that onto figured wood, let it dry, put it on evenly as you possibly can, and then sand some of it back so you get some of that really, really dark colour sitting in the softer parts of the figure, and then you can put your overcoat colours over the top of that. So long as it's darker but complementary, you'll do well, and then use the lighter colours over the top. There you go.
When the wood
mean,
tongue suggesting, Martin, that there's 4 different spray patterns Montana Paints do with different spray caps. Something to look at, maybe.
I wouldn't look at Montana. I would look to the actual manufacturer to provide the caps. But you know, they're a professional paint manufacturer. They'll have the caps. I just need to work out which one will be best. Ben German, as a software developer, I'd appreciate you writing the colours on the bottle in RGB. Not CMYK or lab colours, Ben.
You're not awkward then, Ben, as usual.
No, not a bit. No.
Good evening, Ruby.
Yep.
Oh,
Hi, Ruby.
Hi, Ruby. How you doing?
How's France going, Ruby?
Yeah, Ruby's in France currently.
Right.
She's on a carving week, isn't she?
Are we
Ruby's been,
going to text her this, yeah?
Ruby's been away from Canada for so long. She's probably going to be classed as an expat soon.
Yeah.
or
She's on a
an
carving
exile.
week this week.
Right.
Alan Gibb says, Steve, you're doing a great job turning in the background, buddy.
Oh, I'm just listening.
He always does.
So are we going to text her this or not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna sound the middle up, and then we'll.
Right.
Roy's RGB stands for red, green, and blue. They're the standard colours that you get on monitor screens and TVs and stuff.
And Paul Cameron jumped in and said, hash code, Ben. Whatever that means. He's getting all too technical now. Stop it.
Or
guys have no idea.
if you're properly techie, how about hexadecimal?
Stop it then. Just behaviour.
What about, Ben, even better, what about binary? I learned to program in binary when I was younger.
Yeah, look at that.
We were born, I expect.
Is that when
Ruby
the
Claire
abacus
says,
as well?
As it
Ruby
was
Claire
not.
says, France has been fantastic.
Yeah.
At home, it's very cold and snowing.
Oh, she's back home now. Okay.
No, I don't know if she is.
Oh, at home is. Oh, yeah.
No, she's telling us that at home is snowing. So,
She's not
Lewis,
because she's still in
Lewis had
France
snow,
Monday.
didn't he?
She says she'll earworm for me next Monday, but she'll be in France still again.
There you go. So,
Oh, Pantone as well. Yep. Pantone.
Yeah, all coming out now, look.
yeah,
Or
get away.
RAL, that's a German one.
Well, it says you comfortably do it in hex or binary. You choose.
On or off.
Yeah.
On or off.
Has it got an off and on button on it? You just press the button, it comes on, it does it. That's because that's what I need.
That's the one. The off is the 0.
No, I mean press the button on the computer and it works. How does that? That's what I need. I don't need any programming or anything. Thanks for all, Sam. It's hard enough trying to figure out OBS.
It's a little bit of a notch out there.
It isn't. Oh no. Suddenly went very quiet and everybody's watching the wood turning.
Yeah,
Oh, don't do it! Don't do it!
no, they're not waiting for that last cut, are they? Dave, you know, the last cut.
Yeah, well, he's not in the bottom, we're okay.
Oh,
Danny
wow.
Boy's in. Hi, Danny Boy.
Oh, Danny.
It's got 4 feet of snow.
Oh,
Wow.
goodness sake, Mike. You can keep that, Matt. We don't want that.
We want snow.
No, we don't.
Paul
I've
Kavanagh
seen
says,
snow since about 1960.
are you hearing this? Paul Kavanagh says, okay, I was officially stupid to store my wood right beside the boiler. In other news, I have found my Jimmy Hoffa. With a whole lot of cracked wood, is that what you're saying, Paul? You really need to tidy that workshop up, Paul. Before I have to go on a road trip.
Not another one with a dirty workshop.
Oh,
it's
it's
terrible.
horrendous. It's the worst
It was a
workshop I've seen.
2-foot space. I think there's a 2-foot-6 space we managed to see when he put his picture up, and then he promptly went and bought a planer thicknesser and filled it. So it was into that.
So I don't know where he puts anything. What colours go well with a leaking oil smell? I would try lemon oil.
Yes. Hampshire Sheen lemon oil smells lovely.
Out with the smell, the city furnishing.
Or burnishing oil. It's even better smell.
There's a good question for you, Steve, from Todd. When turning wide rims like this, how do you decide on the wall thickness and bowl depth?
The moment in time, really.
Yeah, I can answer that. I guess. Just
Well, actually, I was turning them back here, and I had that cone in the middle. I thought, actually, I quite like the width for that. So I thought I'd do something on the rim. Might only be a couple of lines, but I might do something on the rim. But, yeah. And that's nearly to the, well, it's quite thin down the bottom there.
You'd be surprised by when you turn in that, just to look at it and turn the width of the rim and the bowl. When it looks right to your eye, it looks right. It's
just happens, yeah. And that happens to me all the time.
Formulas and thirds and all the rest of it.
Yep.
I'd like to say the wood spoke to me, but the man would be knocking on the door with a jacket.
However, Martin's going to, at some point in time, not far away, for those who are not members of the 360 who can join, he's going to demonstrate for us the whole thing of the equations, aren't you, Maureen?
On how to equation. Yeah, how to turn the bowl mathematically.
What, in the club?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you want to know how to do that, you have to join 360.
Let me know when that is. I'll bring my paracetamol.
Oh, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But for those of you who don't know, I mean, I know Todd, who was at SWAT. I think Todd watched the demonstration of me actually mathematically calculating a bowl. But the demonstration is based around using mathematics to calculate the proportions of a bowl, all of them. So so everything is calculated from the diameter of the piece. So that's the diameter of the foot, the height of the bowl, and the thickness of the wall, to see whether or not an aesthetically pleasing piece can be mathematically calculated. And it's a really interesting demo because it gets people thinking. It challenges people who don't believe that mathematical proportions can be used, or they don't believe that they exist, etc., etc. And it also challenges people who struggle with proportion, because it shows and it very clearly demonstrates how you can use mathematics in turning to produce aesthetically pleasing pieces every single time.
That's what I meant to say, but just.
Yeah, that's what you said, but only in less words.
Yeah, I said in layman's terms. So we're all looking forward to that at some point.
Yeah, I am.
Hey, Todd. Yes, Todd saw it, and he's made 3 bowls using the equations. Thank you, Todd.
Where is it pronounced? Fibonacci.
Yeah.
Equation.
Gerard, do we need a calculator that day? No, you only need a pen and a pencil, and enough paper to write down one number.
3.416.
Right, so
My son's got a master's in applied mathematics, so he should be able to work it out, Jared. For you.
I think I'm just going to put a couple of lines in that. Or do I do a bit of texture? I just got a feeling, but being ash, that might tear all out.
Yeah, well,
right.
You feel lucky.
You're just going to have a slightly narrower bowl then, aren't you? Or slightly shallower bowl. Yeah, Lewis said he's just turned down some custom turning yesterday. 10 spindles. And I can't read that. Where's it going?
4 new posts.
And 4 new posts. Doesn't do copy turning, he says.
He said he hates copy turning. Well, Lewis, I've seen your turns, right? You know they're all going to be the same.
Oh, it's a bit harsh. Right, so just a gentle scraping now.
1.618, is it? Is that the equation?
1.618. Something like that.
So
I'm still waiting on training to work out how you incorporate it all.
Oh, I'll explain everything.
Yeah, I know you will.
I've got a temp out as well.
Yeah, Matt Harper says just use the golden ratio calipers.
They don't work on the side of a bolt.
Well, they're not common because of the three-dimensional curve.
So
Mhm.
just a bit of Scotch Brite just to denib
That's
that.
right.
They work okay on eyebrows.
Giving you
Apparently,
secrets away
not
now,
that I
Bob.
would know, right? Well, every time you look up golden ratio calipers, that's all the adverts are for.
The golden ratio calipers are great for things like finials and upright things, but they don't work on bowls and feet and stuff.
Just a little line in there.
Just use your eye. If it looks right, it is right.
That's what I'll do. I'll look at it and think that
That's
looks
what I do.
That'll do.
But it'll be interesting to try a different method.
You going to colour the rim at all, or
No, I'm not going to
No.
colour it. No, I don't think so.
unless you wax it at all, or anything like that?
Ah, the blue light tunder's had a bit of a disaster with his dinner. His sweet and sour sauce is now all over the workshop floor. Oh dear.
No.
On your
Try-
knees, then, boy. Start looking.
It's now got a bit. It's now got a bit of fibre in it.
Hope you have some shavings on the floor, buddy, or it's going to be sticky.
Then. Right, so let's just burn this with a bit of Formica. So a bit of speed. Actually, let's turn the extractor on.
Douglas is saying that the thirds was the right way to go. Douglas, thirds is a way to go. It is a way to go, but if you learn to use the golden ratio and 1.618 in your turning, it opens up many more opportunities.
Seth has said that the demo you did on the 360 a few months back using the golden ratio for a vessel was excellent.
Thank you very much. Yes, that was that wasn't an ad hoc demo. That was a let's see what we can do. It's a bit of an experiment, because I wanted to see if the demo that I do for bowls would transpose into something understandable for upright stuff, vases and stuff, and it turned out that it would. So that's a demo that I'm going to be working on for 2023, is to do the upright version.
Cool.
Steve, have you just for that text you added?
No, I only just gently rubbed a bit of 400 over it.
Oh, right, okay.
Just to deburr it a little bit.
That's really faint, which I don't want it too harsh. So if I seal that now, I'll use the wipe-on sealer for that. Sanding sealer.
Dewey's asking who's demoing in the club next month. It's Les, as Nick Hagar has had to cancel the demo, so Les is stepping in first Monday of December.
The one and only Mr. Fawn.
That'll be fun.
Matt Harbour's saying thirds is pretty close to using the golden ratio. Yes, it is. They are very close, but not quite. So I will generally use one or the other.
We've got 107 people watching, Steve, and it's now 9:10.
Wow. Thank you, everybody. Coronation Street must have
Thanks,
finished.
everybody.
Yep, that's what I was saying.
It's Pudsey night tonight, isn't it?
Oh, is
Children in need.
It is.
That's why Ruth's not in. She's in there glued to the screen.
Well, she should be in here. I'm going to send her
Told
a
her that.
message.
Don't you do that. She'll give me what for.
I'll send her a message if I like. There's my Ruth. I'll send her a message.
All right, so I'm just going to denib that a little bit. Oh.
Oh, go away. Why did I do that?
Todd, it's good to know that demo helped, seeing as you're design impaired.
Design impaired.
Sure.
I like that demo that Trent Bosch did, and I'm still waiting to try that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm going to do that. I am going to just
Got about 5 projects on the go
Time.
at the minute, so it's on the bottom of the list at the minute.
finding
Yeah,
the time to.
Superb.
We'll get there. I did steal his camera idea, though.
You did. You bought the neck, the new thing.
Yeah, the
Oh.
gooseneck, for the gooseneck camera, yeah. You get Brian's eye view now,
Brian's eye view.
which is quite good. I mean, even you should be thrilled, Martin, because I've moved my live sessions away from the 360 club meetings.
I'm looking forward to seeing more of you, Brian. After sharing tea with you last weekend, definitely looking forward to seeing more of you. Have been missed.
The other thing is, I used to earworm for him, so I couldn't blinky come in either. But now I can.
Changed my schedule to suit the club. Perfect.
Fantastic.
Jared's having to go. He's
Yeah,
having a
Jared.
video call with the happy parents from Dublin Hospital.
See you later, Gerard.
I hope they're all
Congratulations.
doing well, Jared. Congratulations, buddy.
Now, Lewis is terribly piercing all future projects. Just because I got one of those piercing machines from Margaret, it doesn't mean that we're art. Doesn't mean to say I'll be doing everything.
Yeah,
But I
don't-
have got 2 already finished.
Right, so
Strangely enough, I bought one of those today
Yeah.
after making a nice sale.
what do you reckon? Black on the texture? Or
Yeah, then it'll be contrast of the underside.
biggest
Gold.
problems. Biggest
Last time I
problems.
put black embellishing wax on it, couldn't get it off again.
Yeah, but that's been sealed, so it should be all right.
Use white spirit.
Wait, Spirit takes it off, does it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Or the Danish oil.
Oh, I didn't want to
Okay.
do that.
Oh, you put it outside the lines.
Yeah, I was going to
Use
use
your
the brush.
finger,
I
these-
was going to use the brush. And I thought, no, don't use the brush.
Or your finger.
I'll use the brush.
Oh,
Robert Kleinspor says, Brian, I've just showed my wife your snowman video. That's a mistake I will live with. I think you're in the shed making snowmen, Rob.
you will be now.
Snowmen and Christmas trees. It's always good at this time of year.
No, it's not.
It is.
Oh,
Stop
he
being
says she
such a
got
humbug.
Ruth says she got a church bazaar next week or the week after next. She said, I need snowmen, I need Christmas trees, I need this, I need that. Yes, dear.
Lewis says, keeping up with Terry and kit purchases could result in homelessness, Brian.
I didn't
I'm
spend
not-
that much.
I'm
Lewis.
not keeping up, buddy. I just had a reasonably good sale today of 3 or 4 bits and pieces, so that'll
Brilliant.
cover the cost. I did, yeah.
You did well today.
Hmm.
The only reason I purchased stuff, Lewis, is because I built a brand new workshop, having moved 300 miles. As you know.
Very good, Danny boy.
What is Danny Boy saying?
Thousands of juicy golden rich. Apply that power 6 to it.
Yeah.
Marshmallow. Brilliant.
Excellent, excellent. It's retracted.
Well done, Roy. Roy's doing well at a sale near him.
Roy always
Good
does
man, Roy.
well. Roy could sell snow to the Eskimos. He could.
Just goes.
He uses his local boozer as a selling shop, I think.
Ah, that's what it is. Yeah, I could have bought an SK100, but I don't want one. Yeah.
The new version of the SK100 is pretty good.
Hmm.
It's better than the old one.
Yeah, it's not got that horrible blinking,
It's got a
Got
proper
keys,
key in it, isn't it? Got a proper key.
and it's got a back on it, and it's all, the workings are all internal.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like the old SK. It's like the old Super Precision Chuck. I've still got mine from 1989, and it's perfect condition still.
Good. Well done, Doug.
Changed the back 3 times. But
Yeah. What's that? You changed the back 3 times. The scroll 4 times. It's got new sets of
It's like-
drawers.
It's like that broom. Like that broom I got was brand new. It's just had 4 new hands and 3 new heads in it. No, every time
it's
you
just
change
like
the
new,
lathe,
yeah.
you got to change the back plate, haven't you, on those?
I don't.
And I changed my lathe. The original Axminster chuck, you change the back plate and to fit whatever your screw was on the lathe. And then I had like a 3/4, and then I had a Poolwood 28" and a quarter by 8 TPI. And then I bought the new lathe, which is M33. So I couldn't get one, and I said to Colin Way, I said, "Look, where do I get this M33 thread from? Because you've got one on yours, you brute." He said, "Oh, we don't do them anymore. You might try Turner's Retreat." So I rung them, and they said, "Yeah, how many do you want?" I got 20 here. Cool. So that was that. Told to change it.
Rob, don't watch next week's video, son. Don't get any more bright ideas.
Doug's just sold over half of his Christmas trees at one of his outlets, which is awesome. Well done, Doug.
Excellent.
Well done, mate.
Well done, Doug. See, I don't do production turning to make them and sell them in a shop or anything. I only do commissions.
See, that's funny. I won't do commissions.
I don't do production turning, so I can't do. I couldn't stand and make
Can't do 100 of them.
100. I couldn't make 100 snowmen. I'd be demented.
God no, nor can I. I just turn what I want when I can.
Yeah, that's it.
You
So
get the chance.
I only sell them through commissions. So if somebody orders them, I'll make them. But other than that, I don't bother.
I turned 15 pence one morning, and I haven't turned one since, and that was 5 years ago.
Yes.
That's quite good going, Maureen, because I turned 2 pens. Gave one to the wife, one to me son, and never turned a pen since. That was about 4 years ago. Ooh.
Yes, Turner's Retreat is owned by Robert Sorby. It's their primary retail shop,
Outlet,
a
yeah.
retail outlet.
Yeah,
Michael
the
and
big-
Christina Heston are in.
Hi, Michael and Chris. They had a big stand
I-
at Harrogate, didn't they? Sorby?
They
They
did.
did a very big stand.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
didn't know they owned it.
yeah.
There you go. That's a nice piece of
Yeah.
information.
Yeah, the Robert Sorby stand and Turner's Retreat stand at Harrogate was fantastic.
It was, yeah.
Right.
And a huge amount of money on it in the last 3 years. Everything's all of the shelving units, all of the demo stands, all of the benches and stuff is all completely brand new, and it looked fabulous.
It did.
Oh, it's got a nice little sheen on it.
Are you Klingsport? That's very cool. That's very cool, actually. Well done. I
What's
hope
he
you
doing?
get it. He just said we're in talks
Oh.
to supply Pro Edge belts
Well, very
Oh,
good.
cool.
to Sorby.
I hope you
Does
get
that include the diamond belt, Rob?
it.
I like that. It's
Just
got a nice.
checking.
Don't
For
know
a
if the
friend.
texture is the right thing, but
Just asking for a friend, yeah, because I've
Yeah,
got
just
diamond
asking
belt.
for a friend. lasts forever, don't
Very
they?
good.
Diamond or 5-10 years.
But the diamond belt fits my Axminster Ultimate Edge machine.
Does it?
It does, yeah.
That's
Same,
interesting.
same size, yeah.
Yes. Same size. It's a lot thicker belt, but it fits perfectly.
Yeah.
So what do you reckon?
Gary Glass, I think it's fabulous.
Very nice, Steve.
It's got a nice sheen
Gary
to it.
Glass says, I enjoy turning pens. That is weird, Gary. You're right. That is weird.
Very good, Steve.
Playing sport
Welcome
don't
back,
do
Steve.
diamond belt.
Welcome back, Steve.
Welcome back, Steve. Thanks.
Have you been,
Thanks.
Steve, where have you
Thanks.
been, Steve?
I've just had my tea. Been had my tea and what? Did you enjoy
had
the
your tea,
video?
didn't I?
Did you enjoy the video?
Yeah, there you go. So Rob says the Axminster ones are 785 versus 780 for the Pro Edge. So there's 5 mil difference on it. I take it that's milled.
Can you see the
Yeah, but
shine on
it's
it?
on a spring system. It's on a
Yeah,
spring
I know.
system. You pull
Yeah.
it down. So
Sorry,
That's
sorry,
good.
sorry. Right, Brian, Terry, our host is trying to speak.
Is he? Oh, yeah. Okay.
very nice, Stephanie.
Can you see the
Finally-
shine? Can you see the shine on it or not?
We can.
Tiny Steve.
Yeah, it's nice.
What did you put on it? What did you put on it to make it shine, Steve?
Hampshire Sheen High Gloss.
Ah, there you go. Just what I always use that.
So I didn't put none of
Steve-
the texture in.
That's a pretty
Ruby
looking
Claire
bow,
says
Steve.
that's a pretty looking bow, and she's put 4 hearts for you.
Who said that?
Ruby.
Oh, thanks, Ruby. I'm glad you're in now, Ruby. Thank you.
And Roy the Boy's got a really important question. He says, what's the price on the new product?
4 of them are $11.50, and the clear gloss lacquers $11.99. They're the RRPs.
Snowman.
So,
And Matt Harbour wants to know where the snowmen are that I'm making. It's on my Facebook page. On my Instagram page, you'll see the snowmen that I make.
Very nice, Steve.
so that's the hang on, I'm going to say it.
That was just one coat as well, wasn't it? Just
Yeah.
one coat.
That's the black gloss lacquer. On
That
there.
was one coat of gloss black.
One
That's
coat. Look at that. Look.
One coat.
that's
You'd need 3 or 4
Really
normally.
good, really good coverage. Sand and sealed it with the matte sand and sealer, and then 1 coat, 2 coats of the sand and sealer, and 1 coat of black, and it came up. You can see it's perfectly black.
It's very, very nice.
And then we went over, but I think I should have left the black a little bit longer to harden off before I put the embellishing wax over it, personally.
Difficult to do in a live, but yeah.
Yes, very nice. Right, let's bring the guys back. Right,
Wow.
so quickly, thanks, Rob. So quickly before we go, if there's any more questions for Martin, what's the time? Oh, we've got 6 minutes yet. We've got plenty of time. So anybody who asked about, I'm trying to find one to show you. I've got that much stuff laying around at the moment.
That link, sorry mate, that link I've just put in is for Matt.
So for everybody, I better just put this off it, who was asking the other week about when the bowl gouge buddies would be available.
Ooh,
Hopefully, obviously they break up. I'll show you what they look like actually on camera. It'll be easy, won't it? Let's put a light on. They should be available sometime this weekend. I've got the pictures. I've just got to get them uploaded to Made Me, so they should look something like that. So
Seen on Terry's wall as well.
yes, it's seen on Terry's wall. So obviously,
and Brian's.
yeah, and Brian's. Don't argue.
I tested them to destruction, guys, and they're fine. They're grand.
So obviously this is the print and plate. So that breaks away. So you've got your bottom part there, and that bit goes in there. So the idea is that you can have that as high or as low as depending on the tool you've got. We're doing 4 different types. We're doing one which is just what we call the bowl gouge, which has just got 3 individual hoops in it. Then the spindle gouge one, so that'll take up to 1 inch rough and gouge, and then your 2 spindle gouges. That's a bowl gouge. Then we've got the scraper one, which gives you up to, I think, I think that's 30 mil in there. But then, that's 1.25 inches. And then we do another skew chisel one because Terry was greedy and he's got a monster skew, so he wanted one that was wider. So there's 1 40 mil and then 2 30 mils. So 4 different types. They'll all be listed individually. So they will be up on during the week or weekend sometime. So, and then we're also launching at the same time. We'll launch the Axe Minister jaw holder, and what else was it I was going to launch? I can't remember now. No, I can't remember what it was now. But there should be 3 products being launched. So then that'll make a nice.
The other one, the centers or not? You've done the centers one, have you? The
MT2, the MT2 holder, is it? No.
No, MT2 holder's already launched.
already
yeah,
out.
it's there.
I can't remember what it was. There was a third item. I can't remember what it was. That'll jump into my head sometime.
All right.
But this is the Axe Minister. This is designed to take the carriers. So you actually slide the whole carrier into it because a lot of people reckon they change just the carriers. It's not the whole thing. So yeah. So that'll be on my main roll.
Yeah.
As soon as I get them up, I'll chuck a link on the Book of Face. So no more questions then.
Yeah, Steve, it looks good.
No, I think we've exhausted the questions by the look of it. There may be 1 or 2.
It's the Earworm Show with Steve hanging around in the background. It's my story of my life. I do exactly the same. The same on a Sunday.
Yeah. Colin saying cold jaw holder. Does
Yes, that'll hold up to. What size are these? 200 mil. can't remember. That will hold the cold jaws this size. I'll just quickly show you this size. So that'll hold the cold jaws up to this size. And I think that'll hold up to a 12-inch bowl or 10 or 11-inch bowl. So, yeah. But like I say, it's only for the Axe Minister tools.
Ward's asking when is the Ash Take
That will
video
be
coming out?
Sunday.
Friday.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Yes. So if you've got any, if
Sunday.
anybody's got any pictures,
Pictures
yeah,
by
anybody's
Friday.
got any pictures of their Christmas decorations they want added to the montage, you need to get them over to me by close of play today, because I'm out tomorrow, so I will start it for either tomorrow night or first thing Sunday morning, ready for Sunday lunchtime. So if you got them,
That's the email address.
thank you.
I'm just putting in the chat.
Mark Straw,
Hey, Mick Stratton. Hey, Mick.
how you doing?
Oh, hello, Mick.
Yep, next few for the last.
Thanks
Yeah,
for coming
Mick.
in.
We can start
Hi,
again.
Mick.
Yeah, of course we can. Yeah, no
There you
worries.
go. I'll zip it. Well, this.
Nice coming in from the AWGP.
So this is what I've done, Mick.
Oh, Doug Miller. Sorry, Doug Miller. Thank you. Sorry, Steve. I interrupted.
That's
It's
all
your
right, mate,
show, after all.
Well, you're the special guest, mate. I'm just here every week.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
So we did this piece of ash, bit of texturing, all Hampshire Sheen products. The new black gloss lacquer on the back, one coat that is. It was over the top of
Brilliant for one
two
coat, I must
coats
admit.
of the matte
Yes.
sand and sealer, all the Hampshire Sheen new products. Also a clear gloss lacquer, a satin black lacquer, and a satin clear lacquer as well. So 5 new products. So well worth it. Well worth it. And as we all know,
Just in case you don't see it, Rob at Kingsports just said your parcel will be with
thank
you
you, Rob.
Monday
Thank you. I'm
morning.
looking forward to having a play with that, and I will do an unboxing video, I think, for it. So,
Cool.
Right. Any more questions before we go? Unfortunately, can't finish my entry. Why is that, Alex?
Because he cut the end of his finger
Oh,
off.
did he? That was a silly thing to do. I
On
nearly did the same
on
today.
his
Do you know
bandsaw.
what? I went to work today. First end panel, got the on the trestles, got it on the cardboard. Got halfway down it, the cardboard flipped up. Not even thinking. Tried to move the cardboard out. Planer one, Steve nil. Then plane blades, brand spanking new plane blades this morning. I'm glad they were sharp.
Yep.
It didn't hurt so much when they're sharp.
Feels less painful.
But there's now it was like a grey, ready coloured panel by the time I finished. But
Yeah.
Lewis at Clonmont Crafts was asking Martin if your lacquers are available in Canada.
They will be if Rob at Woodsley Summercraft orders them.
Get on to him, Lewis. You know the rules.
question from Roy's boy: could you give it another coat of lacquer, clear lacquer over the top of it? Would you need to?
No, you wouldn't need to. But so long as you've removed as much of the embellishing waxes as you possibly can, then you can overcoat the embellishing waxes with lacquer.
Perfect.
Just a single coat will be enough.
See, it's a big hoo-ha, isn't it? Where people's there's a big
Basically,
hoo-ha where people say, "Oh, you can't lacquer over wax. You can't lacquer." I've lacquered over loads of wax, and I've never ever had an issue with it. I think the only time you really get an issue is, like you say, if you don't remove all of it, and also when you're cutting it back, like you said earlier, you take it back in between every other coat or whatever, just to get rid of the blemishes out of it. If you overheat it, then that starts to warm the wax up underneath, and it starts to blister.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, and so I don't generally lacquer over normal waxes or oils in particular. With the embellishing waxes, because there is a lot of essentially metallic sort of powders in there, in comparison to the wax, there is enough solid material there for a lacquer to key to.
Oh, fair enough. Kingsport, do you denib between sand and sealer? Yes, I always denib.
Mostly, yes. Mostly. If I'm putting on one coat, then I'll burnish it down rather than sand it back. But if I'm putting on, say, 2 coat on, let it dry, put the second coat on, then burnish that one down. Do I? Yeah, need. I do. I'm not going to get any for probably at least another 8 days. But not that I want a sob story. But I'll tell you, my last day off was the 11th of October.
Busy man.
Not working hard enough in this.
I was going to have this Monday off, but my VAT return needs to be done. So my day off on Monday is going to be spent doing accounts.
Good old.
It's not really.
Yeah. The answer to Lewis's question is not anytime soon, Lewis. He wants me to play my guitar. He wants to know do I play the guitar? And the answer is no. I've had it for about 8 years and I still can't play it.
Yeah.
Right, I think we'll go. Right, then, guys.
We will.
Thank you very much for coming in. I'm looking at the wrong camera then. Thank you very much for coming in and joining us. Hope you've all enjoyed. I hope hope Martin's answered all your questions. Some good questions coming in there tonight.
Yes.
Really good questions.
Really good questions. Yeah, super. Thank you for those.
So, thank you very much for coming over. Hope you've enjoyed. Don't forget, if you get the chance, try these new products. Did someone chuck in the link for Martin's shop or not?
Yes.
Good man. Good. Thank you very
Well
much. So, like I say, Brian's put the link in. Go over and check out Martin's shop. We all know that Martin works really, really hard, and no doubt he spent hours upon hours and hours at getting these right for us. So let's show him a bit of respect and a bit of courtesy by buying some of his products and trying them. So other than that, we're going to go. I will see you on Sunday. Massive thank you to Martin for coming over. I love having Martin on because he's always full of information. It's great. So massive thank you to Martin. Massive thank you to Brian and Terry, the Tweedledee and Tweedledum. They will be back. They will be back next. Oh, what's next week? Ain't Battle of the Makers next week, is it?
Ash, it's
Oh,
It is
blimey,
indeed,
God,
Battle of the
what-
Makers, yeah.
Okay.
I have to say, don't forget, guys, that the Gold Hunters, that'll be my team, are 2 up and 2 to play.
But the adjudicator makes a decision
No,
who wins.
Yeah, but we might
know.
double
Heavy
the points
here,
for the last two.
No, you
Ooh.
won't. Can't be changing
Yeah,
the
we
rules.
could do
Mr.
James.
James,
Bonus
alright.
points.
2 up and 2
Anyway,
to
we're
play.
going to go. We're going to go. Right. See, don't forget,
Yeah.
Wayne's on tomorrow night. We will see you Sunday. Brian's
Yes.
on Monday night. Terry's
I'll
on
see
Monday
you Monday.
lunchtime. So
No, he's not. No, he's
I'm
not.
on Monday.
Because Monday night's a club meeting. So.
is it? No, not this way. That's 5th of December, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, of course it is.
360
Yeah.
Club.
360 Club this
Sorry, I
Monday.
apologise. So we won't see you Monday. We will
Monday.
be in Martin's. If you want to join Martin's,
No, you
if you
won't. You'll see me on
if
Thursday.
you want to come and join us,
Well, if you want to see Brian and me,
yeah, come and join
Right,
the 360
Come
Club.
and-
Chuck the link in the description
Yeah, so
quickly.
you could all
Chuck
do
the
that.
link in the description
360.com.
quickly.
Oh, jeez. To find it
There you go,
first.
Martin's already out. You're
On
too
your
slow. You're too slow.
360.com.
Have you done it, Martin? Good, man. You had that sitting waiting.
He's
Thank
done
you.
that.
For your questions and your comments this evening.
Right,
Thank
we're
you.
gonna- we're
And
definitely gonna
good
go
talk, Steve.
Thank you very much. Hang around
Hi,
for a
everybody.
minute, Martin.
Are we going,
Hang
are we?
around for a minute, Martin. We'll talk in a minute. Right, so we'll see you later, guys. Thank you very much. Take care. Goodbye, and
Bye.
ta-ta.
That's all, folks.